Well, you're staring down the gun barrel of the round 7 of the $500,000 World Series Sprint Cars at Speedway City in South Australia. This is the Goodyear Eagle Stars Dash. Danny Smith and the die-crest Carline Mufflers 88 Harrower Brothers machine starts on the pole alongside Max Dumsney, Skip Jackson, Trevor Green, Brett Lacey and Brooke Tatnell. Sit to the best. We're underway on what is a very slick racetrack. Now, when we talk about slick, we mean slippery. You see that black rail that runs through most of the track. Hopefully they'll get a bit of rubber down. Danny Smith on the bottom. Dumsney makes it stick on the outside. Well, that is a big move. A lot of experience from Dumsney to keep that car nailed to the track. Danny Smith goes to the bottom. Tony Loxley joins me in commentary. That man there on camera, Skip Jackson, should have more slick track experience than our leader, Max Dumsney, you'd think, Tony.
I think you'd be right there, Wade. But Danny Smith is a specialist on these sort of tracks. He runs all throughout Indiana and the World of Outlaw Tour and the All-Stars Tour. This would suit him right down pat. He's actually pulling away now, so the experience is really coming into play. Max and Skip, they can handle it very well as well. Well,
he drove beautifully out of the corners, and you can see he's hooking the car up as much as he possibly can, running right down the bottom. This is a case where you've got to go slow to go fast. You've got to pull your foot out of the bucket, not get too hard on the gas into the turns. You're just going to light those big right rear tyres up. Back onto the main straight. Danny Smith is your man. Back in second, the Valvoline J&J of Max Dumsney. In third, Skip Jackson. In fourth, oh, look at Lacey smoking the right rear. Sitting back there at about fifth spot. Well, Brooke Tatnell going infield with some problems there. But Danny Smith, this has been a big drive from Danville Dan.
He's put in a great effort. But the slick tracks really tighten up the racing. While it may look a lot slower than normal, the racing they put on is very close and very intense because there's a lot of wheel spin. They're not going forward as fast as they normally do. And there's the checkered flag, and it looks like Danny Smith's taking out the run.
Okay, getting set for the A main, the move into the traditional 4-wide salute here. Good crowd in attendance at Speedway City in South Australia for round 7 of the $500,000 World Series Sprint Cars Travelling Circus. Tony Loxley, I noticed that they've graded the track, and that's going to make a difference now. There'll be a little bit more drive back through the middle. Probably won't take these guys long to tear it up, though.
No, certainly you're right there, mate. I tell you what will happen, though. We're used to seeing through the heats probably 15-second laps. We're now going to go back down to 12-second laps. We'll see some real fast racing, perhaps some freight train racing, because the slick conditions actually even the cars up, but should be a hell of a race.
Well, you can see the guys now have shifted their main wings back forward to the more traditional Speedway City setup. Phil March and Darren Jensen are a classic example of how you achieve that. Peter Murphy is there in the O'Brien Aluminium, number 42 car, David Anderson. Now there's a man who always does well at Speedway City. Nice to see Danny Smith up the pointy end of the field in terms of qualifying, Tone.
Yeah, David Anderson's a long-time campaigner from Wagga, New South Wales. Has some good sponsorship behind him as a hard charger. You know, he's one of these drivers who stops at nothing, always gets the job done in the end. Although sometimes he's come a cropper on occasions, but he's always there and he's always putting on a show.
Well, the guys in the front row have a lot of experience around this track. Brett Lacey in particular, I remember being very successful here. The year after he won the national championship, he built a car of his own design called a Beretta. Ran without a front wing around Speedway City quite often.
And was quick.
Yes, he was. Quite set for a start. Danny Smith alongside Dumsney, and Max Dumsney gets the whole shot into turn 1 and 2. Lacey into third. Chaz Calandro moving forward on the outside of Darren Jensen in the Serco. Number 75. We come out of turn 4. Gee, look at the lead that Dumsney's opened up already over Smith, Jackson, Lacey, March. Ooh, got a push just at the wrong moment there. So did Tatnell. Trevor Green, ever the opportunist, nips into turn number 3, picking up that spot. Looks like the South Aussies are pretty fired up for at least a strong showing at their home circuit, Locks.
Well, you know, and so they should be. South Australia's Speedway City is a racetrack where they've always done very well at. And, you know, they want to put on a good show for the crowd, and I'm sure they'll get there in the end.
Brooke Tatnell muscles his way back past Trevor Green. Here's the Spies Hecker. Number 33 of Brett Lacey. Just up ahead, Skip Jackson. Methodical in his approach. He's like a surgeon the way he cuts through the field. Just at the moment, he's sitting in third. Dumsney is tearing away. Now watch Anderson's car there, the blue car in our shot. That car is very tight. Moving into the corners, you can see it's got the front wheels pointing in a left-hand direction. The car still wants to push deep into the corner. At the moment, it's not proving super successful for him. Jackson starting to mow down Danny Smith. It's a rocket out of turn number 2. Surprisingly, a quick little circuit, this place, Speedway City.
Yeah, and you'll also notice, Wade, that they're starting to lay some rubber on the high line as they're going on the high line, entering turns 1 and coming in low, going out of turns 2. And they're actually starting to lay rubber again, and a little bit of dust is showing that. But you know, they're starting to chase the high line, and they're starting to get around very, very quickly.
It didn't take Max long to pick up the traffic, did it? He just put Peter Smith down.
Never does.
Here comes Mike Van Bremen. He's another one. He brushes him aside, blasts into turn number 3 and 4. Arguably Australia's most versatile motorsport identity, I think, Tony. I know that's a big rap, but then he does touring cars, he does NASCARs, he's an Australian Formula 500 champ, does the sprinters as well. Started off in motocross. There's not a lot he hasn't done.
I believe he's one of Australia's great race car drivers, full stop, whether it be sprint cars, NASCARs, touring cars. It's a shame he didn't stay in touring cars a little bit longer, because in time I believe he would have been right up there with the best of them, but that's the way it goes.
Jackson just put a brilliant move on the bottom, then going into turn 1 on Danny Smith. Now Smith hauled the car back down on the low groove out of the turn. He squared the corner off, just couldn't quite carry the momentum. The car got loose out of the turn. Now Mark Reuter has brought on the yellows. A lot of flame, just unburnt methanol belching out of the pipes of the Dumsney number 5 car as Reuter about set to get moved off the circuit. Now you can see Dumsney's got that wing set way forward. This has always been a track that Dumsney's done well at too. Oh, trouble back in the field between Peter Murphy and Andrew Shirley. And you can see neither one of them, oh, Joel Knott involved as well, neither one of them wanted to stop, Tony, and the reason for that is...
You don't finish, you go to the rear of the field.
Exactly right, you have to go to the rear of the field, so you want to try and keep these cars idling. Of course, no clutch in a sprint car, so only one gear, it's in or it's out, so you've got to keep your foot down. Well, you can see when Max gets off the gas. If you watch just to the rear of the car, near the rear end, you'll see the way, just a little blast of flame. If we stay on the shot here as he goes in the turn, watch for the flame as he gets into the corner. There it is, just off the gas just for a split second and hard back on it as he comes out of the turns. So that's where you'll see where Dumsney's massaging the throttle. There it is again, just flicking out. It's the only indication you'll get that he's not completely on the throttle all the way around.
Momentum helps these cars as well too. Because he's out in front, he's built up a momentum. He's got a groove going around the racetrack, and he can follow that groove lap after lap after lap, where a lot of these other drivers you can see are running inside, they're running outside, and they're really a little bit wishy-washy at times.
Danny Smith a little bit average going into 1 and 2 there. In fact, Lacey got him. Of course, these guys can run hydraulic wings on these cars, so they can make changes to the wing setup throughout the race. I don't think Max has touched his, but Danny Smith still running the wing right back over the rear of the car, just trying to hook it up a little. Max is just on a mission. There's about 6 laps left to go in this one. Oh, lap traffic starts to get a bit scary. Here's your second place man, Skip Jackson. And Max, around the outside of Shirley, putting a lap down on Peter Smith. And this is just a demonstration run, ladies and gentlemen, on how you get around a slick racetrack. The cushion getting closer and closer to the wall. Doesn't seem to worry him where he puts his car. It's just hooked up. And that's a credit to his crew chief, Ian Vale.
I was about to say that Ian Vale is responsible for a lot of this. He works very, very hard on the race car. It's a part-time job for him as well, but he works full-time on it of an evening. And the other thing is, of course, that if a young driver is going to come into the sport and they want to learn off a master craftsman, then Max Dumsney is the man to watch, because he really is one of the best in the country.
I hope they're taping this. Onto the main straight. Cushion working its way further and further up the circuit. Only about 4 laps left to travel for the man who originally from Victoria, back down Warrnambool way, now lives in Nelson in New South Wales. Been living here for over 10 years now, but I think Victoria still claims him as one of their own. I'm not sure how Max looks at the whole picture. Jackson to the outside of Shirley. Shirley just holding down his spot. He's been very consistent in the early going. Tries to race back with Jackson, but Skip, beautiful to watch as Skip Jackson too. You watch a driver's left arm. 1 lap to go. Well, Dumsney.
Oh, he's hit. Max. He's going to hit the wall. Oh,
unbelievable.
Can't believe it.
Looks like it might have been just a momentary lapse in concentration, and their race leader, after we've just bathed him in glory, has drilled the wall in turn 1.
I'm sure Max would be shaking his head, thumping that steering wheel. Vale would have passed out. He'd be on his way to the hospital now.
Well, Skip Jackson is your new leader. The number 5 car being towed to the infield, and Jackson would be grinning like a Cheshire cat now. He'd be all ivory out in front. The number 7, Skilled Engineering, O'Brien Aluminium car. Oh, you see Danny Smith lock the brakes up then going into the turn.
Might have got it a little bit sideways and tried to save the situation.
Well, he didn't want to blow it. Max Dumsney would be bitterly disappointed. Skip Jackson, ever the opportunist, guns down the prize money with 2 laps remaining. Now he's got half a lap to go. And Skip Jackson will romp to victory in round 7 of the $500,000 World Series Sprint Cars. The flagman's pretty happy for him. Back in the second spot will be Danny Smith. In third, Trevor Green. David Anderson, big drive from him.
Good drive.
He gets up to 4th place. The track did slick off, as we predicted that it would, but a fabulous drive. And well done to Skip Jackson. Max Dumley. Well, you don't have to be dead to be stiff. Well,